Well, welcome back to the channel. We have a new project. Well, it's not new, and it's actually something that I own. Well, my father and I own it. We bought it together pretty much to do this project. We're just going to LS swap it and put a 4L80 in it and drive it. Maybe a turbo or a blower later on, but that'll be a later on thing for now. But for now, we're just going to do an LS swap. Pretty common platform to do an LS swap in, but I'll just swap it around. And there she is, 1982 K20. She's a 3/4 ton. Rides like a lumber wagon. I really don't know how people hauled anything with these trucks. The 350 that's in there is very lethargic. Maybe it's just a carburetor issue, I don't know. But I'm not going to be worried about it here in a little bit. I'll show you the motor that's going to go in it, or engine. But let's do a little walk around of the truck. Back out here a little bit. But like I said, it's a 82 K20. Got a 350 under the hood, 350 small block, then letter M. And then we got a turbo 400, I can't remember the name of the transfer case, 204, 205, just the aluminum one with the metal bar that goes from the transfer case up to the engine. What else is there? Yeah, that's about it. Open rear diff, I'm pretty sure. It's a California truck. The guy that owned it before us moved here with the railroad a long time ago, and it's pretty much still stock underneath the hood too. They put some buckets in it, which are super uncomfortable. They're going to go bye-bye. I'd rather have like a 60/40 from a OBS or something, but got the regular old 2-knobber radio. How many miles we got on this thing? 83,000. 183, 283, who knows? Brake pedal isn't too wore off, so it might be 183. This thing doesn't work. Wiper delay. We got a new dash that's going to go in here, so we'll have tack, and this little empty guy will have the fuel gauge in it instead of it being right there, and we'll have the tack right there. We're going to get the AC going. Let's see what else. But like I said, it's a California truck, so it's fairly rust free. There's a couple little spots here and there, but a little spot there, and got a little bit coming through there. Overall, she's a clean rig. I tried cleaning up the wheels. Tried the aluminum foil trick. It seemed to work pretty good. These were a lot rustier. Barely has any rust there. Just a little bit. Of course, we got the antique tag on it. It had a topper on it, and the paint just kind of flaked off of it. I think this probably had a paint job on it at one time or another, but it's going to get another one when we get done with the swap, I think. Bird poop. It's got rust like that over there. It's really bad, kind of that spot right there. We're going to get it all fixed up. Kind of see where the rubber was for the camper topper. Got dual tanks. That's kind of how rusty the wheels were. I didn't do this side, I just did the other side. I'd really like to put some Boston wheels on here, but I don't know, we'll see. Even got the spare tire in it. Locked up. Got no key for that. Got these guys. Thinking about doing some old Derek's wipe on shiny stuff from Vice Grip Garage, just to kind of hold it over till we do paint it. But anyways, let's pop the hood. See this gem. That's where the business is gonna happen. Very fitty. Starts and runs, no problem. Still has the jack. Still has all that stuff. Got a newer blower motor in it. AC doesn't work. I'm not sure if we pumped it up it would. There's all the emissions crap for a 1982. I had that valve down there on the exhaust that helps heat it up faster. I was going to flip that cover over, but the stud won't reach. Good old HEI on it. I just put a new water pump on it. Is it rusted already? Yep, sure is. Needs a power steering pump too, but I'm not worried about that now. Even though I got a brand new one in a box. But that's it. That's the truck in a nutshell. Let's go inside the shop where it's not so freaking hot. And of course I have it all covered up, but it's an LS3. Let me just take this bag off. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is a LS3, allegedly from a 2015 Chevy SS with low miles, allegedly. I'm using that word allegedly a lot. But it's got the nice little oil cooler, which I think I'm going to try to use. I got a set of Camaro Chevy SS headers, so I know they'll fit this engine anyways. Hopefully they'll fit the truck. We'll find out. I got it all tore down because I want to put a cam in it. We're going with the BTR red hot cam. Got the nice flat tops. I've already cleaned these off. They had you know, the usual, they had the usual soot and stuff on top of the pistons, which was very light, so that kind of makes me think that the engine is low miles. Another thing that made me think the engine was low miles, we pulled the valve covers off and they were super clean underneath the valve covers. Only bad thing is I think it's set for a while because I was going to start doing these heads, start putting different valve springs on them, and they were leaking through. You know how you put air on the spark plug hole to keep the valves up so you can release the retainers when you do a cam or when you do springs on the car. But anyways, they were had a little bit of rust on the valves and were leaking through. So I tried to lap a couple of the valves. Lapping it didn't help. It helped a little bit, but not a lot. But we had a guy in KC, JPI. Let's see their logo right there. There it is. You see it, JPI. They're out of Kansas City. He's got CNC ported. CNC ported all those ports for me. Retaining valve, or titanium retainer. God, I can't talk right now. Titanium retainers. We got I can't remember they're pack springs. I can't remember the number on them, but they're dual valve springs. And he also put new valves in it because it most likely had those hollow ones with the sodium filled, all that crap. So don't want them suckers breaking off. But yeah, they look really nice. Nice big ports, smoothed off. Got to remember to put some silicone on those holes on those bolts for the intake, because the CNC port job or program just cleans those little nubs right off. But yeah, those are the heads. We got a ton of parts over here. Here's the cam. Let's see how big that cam is. It's not a huge cam, but it's got a little bit of a look to it. BTR Red Hot. 619, 617 lift. 221, 240, whatever. They don't like giving out their specs. But Brand spanking new. Throw that in there. These are all the old trunnions. I've already done a trunnion upgrade. The LS3 intake there. Did the trunnion, BTR trunnion upgrade. Oop. Throw away my mess. But that's the motor, the heads. Ooh, I thought you had transmission. This is a friend of mine, Zach. Let me borrow this. It's just a LS1 block, I think. I think it's an LS1 block. But yeah, we're gonna use that to mock up the mounts and everything when we build the mounts. Ooh, got a little bent valve there. This is the transmission back here from Jake's. 4L80, supposed to be good to 700 horse, so that's gonna go in there. I need to get an extension housing still. Talk to my buddies over at Topeka Transmission. They can hook me up. But that's where we're at. I'm gonna get this truck pulled in here. Get the antifreeze drained out of it. Start pulling off that whole front end. I think it'd be a lot easier. I didn't want to pull the whole front end of it off. As far as front clip, what I mean. The fender, front end, all that stuff all in one take. But I don't know, I think it'll be way easier. My dad's like, just pull everything off. Just pull it all out. I think he's right. Because I need to get down in there in the frame so I can make the mounts. So, start digging all this stuff off of here, get it pulled in the shop. And just like that, it's in pieces. Jeremy came over and helped. My dad did too. But yeah, we just took the whole front end off in one chunk. There's a harness, wiring harness that went along here, so we had to take out the grill. And there's some things I'm going to change around on this, but I'll probably end up making a shroud with some electric fans on there, or get the newer Chevy truck fans set up to put on there. And let's see, there's the motor. Still runs. Not now, but it ran. You know, I drove the truck here. There's everything else. Mounts are toast. They're going bye-bye anyways. I'll leave that engine in here. I measured the angle difference between the frame on the frame right there to the angle of the engine. And it's about 5-degree difference from here to the engine. So about 5 degrees down. So I'm gonna make my own engine mounts. A lot of the LS swap mounts, they, you know, this is in the middle of the small block Chevy. Well, the LS mounts are like, oh wait, no, this is on the end. Yeah, anyways, it moves the mounts in the way of the AC compressor. So, I'm gonna make my own mounts so I can use the factory AC compressor from the LS3. And we'll get it worked into all this stuff over here. But, yep. Gotta plug this off. Probably try to, well, see if I got a fitting for that, and then we'll run it into here. That way it's just looped. And take it to the car wash. Wash this baby up. Make sure I don't have any holes in the fender like this one. Or not the fender, the firewall. But yeah, that's the plan. Getting me more wet than the truck. Every good car needs a good little washing. That's a swamp. Look, I put new shocks on it. Look, they're all clean now. Brand new. Yeah. Excuse my language. I'm getting wet. All right, from the car wash. This is, was it day 3? Yeah. We haven't been getting a whole lot done. But anyways, we got the Mockup engine in there. Like I said before, I'm trying to keep all the factory LS3 stuff, the accessories that were on here. So far, we got the alternator on there, which actually fits in there. I got my angle right. I got a 5-degree down slope compared to the frame. We've got our 5th gen Camaro or Chevy SS headers in there, which I think this passenger side one, it's kind of hard to see, but the gosh dang it, the drive shaft down there is, if this differential comes up all the way, it's going to hit. So I'm going to do a little massaging of the tubes right down there. I just kick them out just a little bit that way. I think they'll fit just fine. I'm going to cut this off right here so I can get the AC compressor in here. That's going to fit. If you notice, the cross member is gone. It's right there. I cut this part out to make room for the engine, and then I cut this big chunk out right here to try to make room for the AC compressor. And my dad came over and was like, just take the whole thing out. I was like, well, that's genius. So sometimes you just need another set of eyeballs. And I'm gonna make my own cross member, or if I can find one online. I thought I saw one a long time ago that somebody's got one they make that goes across there. It's tubular, looks really nice. So I'm gonna see if that might work. And then get home and get some studying done, see if I can find anything, or not studying, but research. But he's coming along. He looked good in there. We put that engine block in there and sat back and looked at it for a little bit. And like, dang, it looks good in there. LS's just look good in everything. Looks like a cobbled up mess right now, but I'm gonna sandblast the whole frame, everything. With probably gonna pick up one of those Harbor Freight ones. Give it a nice caliper black paint job, just up here, and then we'll do the farther back later on. But just want to get the engine compartment looking nice. Get that 813 off there. I don't know what that's for. Alright, somebody at the factory. Man, that is on there. Get a little scratch pad or something. But that's where we're at now. We got the tank. This is the fuel tank. It came in. What else we got? I need to put that thing up because I'm having way too much fun with that. My son tried that today. He's like, that's fun. Like, I know. Okay, starting off, I'm gonna go try to find some parts. Well, we're pretty much done with our engine mount set up here. I ended up going with TMR Customs, the engine mounts. This is one of the parts. The polyurethane bushings go inside here, and then the sleeve. I'll show you. It's a really nice kit. It just comes in all these separate pieces, you know. All the sides are all separate. The gusset's separate, and the base plate. And you just weld it all together. The reason I like this kit probably over the other ones, other companies, is it's got a gusset here. And it's, you know, the gusset was also, you can kind of see where I didn't fill it in, but it's got notches. Everything's got notches. You see the holes where I welded them in there, but you know, these notches fit into the base plate. I mean, you can't mess it up. Just put it all together, tighten your nut down with your sleeve inside here, and just start tacking everything up and weld them all together. Worked really well. But yeah, they're 1/4 inch steel, so if you need an engine mount just to, you know, work on anything, I'd definitely go with that one. This is I was trying to get these guys in there. I think I showed you before. This big honking thing from the Chevy SS. And where'd my mount go? Yeah, this guy. Here it is. It is huge. Probably weighs 5 pounds. Probably not that much, but I kept having to cut this section down so the header would fit. And I don't know, I just didn't like it. It was too bulky, it took up a lot of room. It's hard to get to. I mean, it probably would have worked, but it yeah, built like a tank. Then I didn't like it. So I built that one side and I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm gonna go with these. And then so that made it easier for me to make a cross member. See, this tube here is not part of the kit, the TMR motor mount kit, you know, just the cylinders. But I was able to make a cross member here to connect the two, so I could replace the cross member I took out of here, the big thick one. And here I just made, this was a piece of C channel that I cut down the center. It was just a little bit too wide to fit in between the frame here. So cut it down, welded it back together, and then drilled and tapped it for these bolts. So it's bolted in the top and the bottom. So for whatever reason, if we ever have to take this cross member out, we just twist it out and we can do what we got to do, put it back in, and that's pretty much good to go. I'm just gotta, I think I'm gonna sandblast. I am gonna sandblast all this stuff. Gotta get a new brake line. I just saw that. Probably play the guitar on that thing. Anyways, I was driving on that. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we gotta sandblast all that good stuff. Get it all cleaned up. Got a paint shop down the street that I'm gonna, they'll put whatever color you want in a paint in a can with aerosol, you know. So I'm gonna have them, I can't remember the name of the color. I'll tell you guys later. It's kind of a dark blue. It comes on the like a 2015 Chevy truck. Almost matches what we got, but it's got some flake in it. Looks real nice. So we're gonna paint the firewall that color. And we're also gonna sandblast all this stuff. I hate rust. I just don't like it. I have, I guess I got trouble looking at all this rusty stuff. So we'll clean up all this stuff, get all the rust off of it. I got 4 cans of Eastwood chassis black for in the primer and the gloss. So we'll primer this area here, and then we'll gloss black it. If we got enough, we'll do the differentials. I'll probably just do caliper black in the differentials. I think that'll be strong enough for that. I wanted to use the Eastwood stuff on the frame because it flexes, you know, and I don't want the paint cracking off later on down the road. And let's see, what else? Oh, this is the tool I made to hold the engine. It worked out really well. I just had that guy sitting there, and then this. Just sitting across there. I could twist that handle, go up or down, get the, you know, the engine level on here. The bolts just went to the water pump. Super easy. I'll throw a picture in there, or a couple of what I had set up here. That thing's probably going to collect dust for the next 20 years or become a part to another project in the future. So you don't run away. I might use you again. We got a power steering pump from a CTSV 2011, I believe. Came with the pulley and the bracket. So that'll work quite nicely. It lines up with the alternator that goes right below it. And we did have to end up getting a kit from ICT Billet for the compressor, because this is the ICT Billet compressor. Just got a single wire, you know, it grounds through the case. But the factory compressor, after doing research, I probably could have figured it out with the you know, the Holly, because it's got two plugs. One plug obviously runs up here to the clutch and engages the clutch. This one will, via pulse width modulation, it starts the compressor just kind of slowly and ramps it in instead of beep all the way. And I don't know, I just didn't want to have to mess with that. You know, we've been using clutches for years and they work just fine. I mean, this definitely would help ramp stuff in, but Plus, this thing was huge inside there. Like this, these lines were behind the frame, and they're just not going to fit very good. I'll show you a picture of how they set, and versus the new ICT billet compressor, which is way smaller. But that's how that's going to work. I need to run and get a compressor, or not a compressor, a sandblaster, so I can start working on this frame. It's super humid in here today. It's probably not the best day to be sandblasting, but we'll see how far I get. I got a Beaver sandblasting cabinet coming in too. I need to sandblast the extension housing. I found out this extension housing fits on a 4L80. So I'll just need to replace this little O-ring in here. Oop, don't fall. And then obviously get a new gasket for the backside. Bolt it right up to the 4L80. And that'll be good, but I'll get it all cleaned up and painted, make it look new, shiny and new. Here's my old setup. But anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go on this video. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.